So ladies and gentlemen, the moon is all set to welcome our Vikram. And this is the time for the burning question. I'm Deepthi Sachdeva, but no questions will be asked today. And there are going to be no politicians in the studio. We'll have scientists joining us. We'll have people who will tell you why this moment was historic. We'll have people who will explain to us that what exactly is Vikram doing right now. What will Pragyan do once it rolls over the surface of the moon? We are almost less than 24 hours away, which is the most critical countdown that has begun for India's moon mission. And don't forget that this has been a mission in the making. We've spoken about Chandrayaan-1, we've seen Chandrayaan-2, and this is Chandrayaan-3. But this also tells you that where there is grit, when there is resilience, everything is possible. That's exactly what the team of scientists at ISRO has done. India is all set to make history once its third lunar mission, that is Chandrayaan-3, will be making that soft and successful landing on the south polar region of the moon on Wednesday. That's just tomorrow. That's got to be close to about 6:04 p.m. And tomorrow by this time, we will be celebrating. We are cheering right now. A lot of viewers have written to us saying they're also nervous, but yes, we are keeping our fingers crossed. The mission and the launch are managed by ISRO. ISRO's roots go back to the beginning of space exploration. And as a predecessor agency, remember, it was set up in 1962. Its first rocket launch was in 1963. The Indian Space Agency has shared more images of the moon taken from a 70-kilometer distance by the country's ambitious lunar mission, Chandrayaan-3. You see a lot of these stunning, fascinating pictures already on your screens. And just one close look at these images that you see on your screens, remember, tell you that this is exactly what not just the country, but the world is waiting for. The images were captured by a camera that is tasked with guiding the lander during its historic touchdown tomorrow. And as the countdown to Chandrayaan-3, remember, continues here, Republic is going to be a one-stop destination that will not just put the spotlight on the final 15 to 17 minutes that many say possibly could be just historic. But what is the lander doing right now? What happens between now and tomorrow? When is that final moment of descent? And the Prime Minister is also going to be joining in virtually and will be looking at the landing. Let's bring up everything that you need to know on that big launch that is slated tomorrow. And then we get you experts in our studios to explain to you why this moment is historic and momentous.
3 gears up to make a soft landing at the moon. It's pivotal to recognize what went into the making of this incredible spacecraft.
2, 1, 0.
After the failed landing of Chandrayaan-2, ISRO scientists made many advanced changes in Chandrayaan-3's lander, rover and an indigenous propulsion module.
Chandrayaan-3 is going very well. Yesterday night we had a orbit reduction in the moon's orbit from something like 18,000 kilometers to around 4,600 kilometers and 165 or so. It's the closest point. So subsequently it will again come down. 9th also there will be some maneuvers. Again on 17th. So until it lands on 23rd, there will be a series of maneuvers. So everything is going fine now. The satellite is healthy.
LVM-3 is the product of ISRO's years of hard work and dedication. Chandrayaan-3's total payload is 3,900 kilograms, out of which the propulsion module weighs 2,145 kg alone. The propulsion module and lander usually embark on a month-long journey to reach the moon's orbit. Once it reaches an altitude of 100 km above the moon's surface, the lander initiates its descent for the soft landing. The propulsion module also carries a payload called SHAPE, meaning spectropolarimetry of habitable planet Earth. SHAPE studies Earth from lunar orbit. The The lander, which weighs 1,749.86 kg, carries various payloads. The rover, weighing 26 kg, will only emerge from the lander on its landing and study the moon's surface. Once all the three components are ready, it is then encapsulated into LVM-3. Chandrayaan-3 is set to land on the surface of Moon at 6 p.m. on August 23. Agency report for Republic TV.
And clearly, like I said, remember, this is a moment that's going to go down in history. And right now, I'm joined by R.C. Kapoorji, who's a space scientist, joining us on the broadcast from Bengaluru. And we'll have more guests joining us in just a moment. This is one of the rare occasions, I think, that there is so much of excitement. There is so much of looking forward to what happens tomorrow. Now, because you're also a space scientist, you get fascinated by this almost day in and day out. Tell me something, sir. What are you feeling right now? I mean, are you anxious? You're nervous? What is it that happens between now and tomorrow when 6:04 p.m. we'll be seeing the soft landing of Chandrayaan-3, sir?
Actually, like every Indian, I'm also waiting for the moment on 23rd at around 6:04 when we will actually get the good news, because as in the visuals that you have shown just now, the confidence that Dr. Somnath has exuded, it is wonderful, and then that gives a confidence to the whole nation. So we are like anybody else in the country. We are also looking forward to that moment. And of course, we are not anxious. We are not worried. We know that ISRO has done earlier. ISRO is going to make it even this time also.
Oh, yes. And this is about scientists. They are to the point. They are very precise. They are very crisp. They don't talk much. Much like television anchors. But I'll also take this opportunity to say good evening to Manish Purohit, who's a former ISRO scientist, also with us. And we'll also have Suresh Naik, senior space scientist at ISRO, also joining us. And it's good to have all of you gentlemen on the broadcast. Manish, with your permission, I want to get in the first word from Suresh ji also. Suresh ji, you are smiling, you are beaming, and it's so good to have, that big, broad smile on everyone's face today. And we are keeping our fingers crossed. Why don't you tell us that what happens once we will see that descent taking place? There are lovely, fascinating images that ISRO has released where you can actually see the dark side of the moon, through the orbiters, where it has craters, it has rocks, and clearly India has chosen that challenge. And what do you think? What are you feeling in this moment, Suresh ji?
Well, you see, as an ex-ISRO scientist, I have gone through this experience about the last-minute suspense. Of course, those were not interplanetary and lunar missions, but the feelings are always same because it is a one-shot affair. And if you make any small mistake, there is a failure that is going to happen. I mean, the space is very cruel in that respect. So though I am very confident that ISRO, having taken all the precautions, all the failure scenarios into account, and providing the measures to overcome them. So I am confident. And if you see the journey so far, it has been glitchless. So right now, I can tell you the atmosphere in the control room at Bangalore must be very enthusiastic, and excitement is there. And also they are confident. But at the same time, we cannot deny that the last 15 minutes journey is full of risks. And we have once experienced that. So, there can be some unforeseen thing happening in the last minute. However, take care you take it. But I feel that this time the chance of encountering any such unforeseen things and getting into problem is almost nil, negligible. Virtually, I think we are already there. Now it is a question of really going through that particular process and keeping your nerves. Of course, you see, one thing is there. Now, this last 30 minutes journey, lander is entirely autonomous. I mean, the scientists, they don't have to, or actually, there is no, not possible to interfere there, because every second matters there. You see, because 1.5 second to moon, 1.5 second back, 3 seconds time is not available for certain critical operations. And that's why now we have to really watch what is going to happen. But one thing, till tomorrow evening at 5:20, we are going to again do our best to take again all the checks, double checks, triple checks, and make sure that everything is working smoothly. So that is what is there in the ISRO's scientists' hand, and they are continuously on the job day and night. And you see, once the landing process starts, then of course the algorithm also has been designed by ISRO, and all type of eventualities have been taken care. And I want to tell you one thing, why it is so challenging in the last 15 minutes. One thing is the terrain on the moon in the southern pole. We are the first to dare to attempt that expedition on the southern side of the moon, because the terrain, topography, is full of craters, full of boulders, and the ups and downs. And of course, there is a fairly good plain land available, but the selection of the site is very important, that we have done. And secondly, the thruster operation has to be very, very precise. And you see, another thing I want to tell the viewers also here, that 2 meters per second is the velocity which we are going to, we have planned the last stages, that is 150 meters and below, right? A question was asked to me by somebody, email, that why don't you have that kind of a low velocity even earlier, let us say at 400 meters, to be on the safer side? The answer is very clear. You see, we don't have the luxury of that much fuel putting into the lander, because 400 meters or 500 meters means additional 3 minutes of journey, 3 minutes of continuous firing of the thrusters. And that too, if you want to achieve 3 meters or 2 meters, the thrust has to be very high. The braking has to be very high. So we don't have that luxury. And optimum point is 150 meters. After that, our velocity will be reduced to 2 meters per second. And I think that is now, we are sure that once we achieve that kind of a process, implementation, then our lander is sturdy enough to take up the shock absorber, because there are shock absorbers in the legs already incorporated. And once it touches the land of the moon, then the shock absorbers will give a message. There are sensors that Vikram has arrived. And I feel that so far they have been sending good messages from the Vikram lander, and I'll be very happy when we get the message, hello, Vikram has landed. And that is the D movement, and then there is a celebration. I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, yes. I think, Suresh ji, in the last few minutes, you've summed it up so well. A lot of our viewers, I think, will feel very encouraged with what you've said. And Manish, that one tagline that he said, that we are almost there. Everything is well, everything is looking good, fingers are crossed. Manish, why don't you elaborate to us, and because you're in the studio, how does this landing take place? What is it about those last few minutes? People say that it's just like you skip your heartbeat during that moment, and all of you are scientists. I'm the odd one out. I want to know what happens really in those last few minutes, Manish.
Actually, as the NASA has put it, those last few minutes, they call them the 17 minutes of terror. Once we set into the power descent mode, when we decide, let's say when ISRO decides, okay, fine, we have to touch down, we have to land our Vikram on the moon, then the system will become autonomous. Software part will take over. Onboard computer will control all the possible things. As Jas sir has rightly mentioned, that in that particular phase, if we'll try to put in something from our ground station, it will be like, there will be a transit delay of around 1 few seconds, and then processing, and the transit delay again back to the earth of 1 few seconds. And that delay can literally do havoc if we are trying to control the stuff from ground. So everything has to be well planned way before, and that has been done. It is there on the onboard computer. So when we will start at the height of 25 kilometers, we will be somewhere around 750 kilometers away from our landing site on the surface of the moon horizontally, and from the surface of the moon somewhere around 25 kilometers. That time we will be moving very, very fast. That's because that time we are moving in the orbit. So we will be having orbital speed, and lander will be moving horizontally. After that, for around next 11.5 minutes, we'll be firing thrusters. Engines will be fired to slow it down, and also gradually we want our lander to be in this position. So from this to this position, we can't just directly come with complete control. So we'll be gradually moving it to some angle. Here we will be having attitude control phase, and that time what we'll do, we'll be clicking some images of the lunar terrain and matching those images with the onboard images that we have, and making some good decisions about our upcoming processes and the phases. When that phase ends, because this is the part when things started to go wrong in 2019.
In 2019, yeah.
So we have taken extra care that at that point of time, our algorithm will be doing the real-time error correction. That time it was not happening in 2019, but this time it has been incorporated in our code that it has to be done real-time if something goes wrong. Other than attitude control, everything else also has to be taken care of. And this phase duration has also been reduced. Previously it was 38 seconds. Now we have given just 10 seconds of time for this particular part. This means we have enhanced the computational capabilities also, because if you want to do the same thing that we have done in 38 seconds, in 10 seconds, we need faster processing. Once that phase is over, then next phase will be fine braking. At the end of that phase, we should be somewhere around, let's say, around 800 meters above the surface, and just staying there for a while and observing the surface. Calibrating all our velocity meters, our Doppler velocity meters, and everything will be calibrating. Take a descent, go slowly to a height of 150, as sir has mentioned. From there, our lander hazard detection and avoidance camera will come into picture. That particular fellow will be clicking images, checking for any unevenness, any boulders, rocks, something that may hamper our proper landing. So if that happens, it will be a no-go condition, and we'll move 150 meters ahead, and then again we'll attempt landing. If it's a go condition here, we'll go down, we'll cover those 150 meters in 73 seconds to have a smooth touchdown.
Interesting. So, today what Manish has not done, Sureshji and RC Kapoorji, is that he hasn't got the model. But, through his hands and all the movements, I think he's very brilliantly put forward how, you will see that turn coming in 90 degrees and then beyond that. But tomorrow he's going to be carrying the model. He's made that promise to us. So that's what we'll tell our viewers also. But RC Kapoorji, before I get in Sureshji back into the conversation, now scientists always have a plan A, but then they also have a plan B, C, D perhaps. Now, to ensure that what happened in 2019, sir, is not repeated now in 2023, do we also have a plan B and C?
See, once the deorbiting takes place and the descent begins, so plan B or C is already built into the software. The algorithm takes care of that. And as Dr. Manish right now described, how at the time when the hovering takes place, then there is also a possibility of taking a decision that whether there is a lateral shifting will help. Because at the bottom where the lander has to land, is the ground clear? How clear is that ground? Whether there are any boulders, or is there a crater which is too big for the lander to cause any problem? And at that time, if any lateral shifting is taken care of, then obviously all of that is built into the algorithm. So of course that there was a lot of lesson to learn from Chandrayaan-2's lander, and the most difficult thing happened during that fall, during the fine breaking phase. But this time, all of that is taken care of, and there are sensors which are laser based, and there are obviously, as Manish mentioned, Doppler velocimeter and altimeters. They see, the most crucial thing is we must know at every instant the height above the ground, the orientation, and the velocity of the fall or in the trajectory. So all of that is sort of taken care of, because initial conditions have been at all the times being sort of input into the algorithm, so that this descent takes place in a real decent manner.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm told K. Siddharth, who's also a strategic thinker and earth scientist, is also joining us on the broadcast, and I'll say good evening to him also. And let Mr. Suresh make his point before I get in Siddharth into the conversation. Sureshji, a lot of people have also been asking us that what is this fascination about the South Pole? It has so much of charm. What is it that Chandrayaan-3 wants to do when it's going to be attempting that soft landing on the South Pole?
Yeah, actually, see, South Pole has been a very interesting portion of the moon. And I'm very happy to tell you that first time our Chandrayaan-1 found out water on South Pole. And since then, South Pole, South Pole is becoming prominent. And then only we decided that we will plan our robotic mission, lander softly landing there in the south pole of the moon. Now, there are two important aspects of South Pole. One is the unique topography of South Pole. There is a vast land on the south pole of the moon, which is always in the shaded area, dark area, because there is an axial twist, what you can say, actually axial tilt in the moon's axis. So South Pole is away from the sun, and that's why the sunlight never reaches there. That is why it's always permanently in the dark, right? Not all, but some portion. And that is why water will be available in vast quantity in the form of ice. That is one thing. Second thing is, on the other side, there are peaks on the South Polar region which are always having sunlight. You see, that is an interesting thing. There is one of the tallest mountain on the South Pole region, which is about 5 kilometers tall, high, and always in the sunlight. So ISRO has been very smart to select that area, because you need water for generating oxygen, hydrogen, and of course the fuel from that. And at the same time, you need sun to generate electricity. So this is the very strategic location from this point of view. And that is why you can see now Russian Lunar 25 was planned to launch in the South Pole. America's Artemis is sending their mission on South Pole. And there are two more missions coming. The Japan, Israel, they're all coming on the South Pole. And not only that, America is planning to land the two astronauts on the South Pole. So you can see in the next 2 years, 9 satellites are planned, landers are planned, which are going to land on the South Pole. That shows that South Pole is the most attractive portion of the moon from the point of view of a human colony establishment there in future. Okay, and why human colony there? Because of the two reasons again. One is there are very precious minerals available. That is what is expected. Okay, like helium-3 and some of the other things like uranium and things like that. And second thing, that at the South Pole, which is actually having low gravity, 1/6 of that of Earth. So from there, if you want to come back to Earth, fuel for the rocket will be much less. Taking flights to other planets
Okay.
like Mars, asteroids will be much less, so much less expensive. So these are the attractive elements for choosing South Pole.
Okay. Okay, you say it's possible to colonize the moon. Clearly, I think there are dreams, and there are dreams far beyond everything, Sureshji. But we must thank our scientists, Manish, and you would agree, because they give us a lot of hope. And I think hope is such a powerful thing in today's day and time. And I have to get in K. Siddharthji also into this conversation. So it has to be asked that what happens if tomorrow we will see Chandrayaan-3 successful in its mission? What would that mean for not just India, but for the world, sir?
Well, geopolitically, I'm going to categorize this entire part into 4 categories. Geopolitically, what it means is that it is a combination, it's a rendezvous of the efforts of many countries. For example, of United States, NASA has contributed, European Space Agency has contributed, and understand this part, that is, this event is going to be preceded by, or rather, it is going to be taken an extension of, there has been a Cold War, or rather a hot war, whatever that you're going to say, Ukraine, United States and China cannot going to come together. China and US cannot going to come together. Russia and US cannot come together. So India is at a strategically very good place and very good position to take it forward. That is going to be one component. Second is the cooperation that we are going to be having from the whole of the world in this case. That is all of these countries have combined their technologies, their will, their economy and other things as well in this combination. The third is when you want to say it a technology, then technologically it is going to be a big leap in the form of choosing South Pole and landing on the South Pole. That is, we have been the first one to have effectively been able to find a hydroxide, not exactly water. And this is something that can be used for the purpose of furthering the interest of breaking it into different bonds and fueling the rockets who want to fly it to the deeper space. Then economically, it is going to be a technology statement for India to such an extent that it will spur India in the same manner as Apollo mission has gone to do for United States, say 1969. It will go on to make a major technology leap, and India will not be a technological laggard in this case at all thereafter. Then economically, once you're going to see it, Artemis has gone to enter into an accord with India. And when it has gone to enter into accord with India, that means all the data that we are going to be collecting from this place, that is going to be used for the purpose of this joint mission. In fact, that is going to be shared in this case as well. And nationally, if you're going to see it, this is going to be one of the biggest exercises ever taken for nation building. There has been not so many events that have spurred the imagination of the Indians to bond themselves together, to have a zeal to such an extent as Chandrayaan-3 is going to be having. If it is going to be successful, and there is no way that we can go to say it can't be right now, given the type of technology that it has been endowed with, and the failure-proof designs that it has, then it will go on to bond the country in a much better manner than it has ever, any event in the history of India has ever done so. And lastly, once you're going to take it, we have talked about technology. Almost every member has talked about technology, and the least said about it, it is going to be better. Better. And one aspect by which we can go on to conclude is this is one event, one launch of India that will put ISRO on the map. It is the cheapest event. There is no event that has been as cheap. Even the movies have been costlier than that. And India will go on to become a space capital.
I interrupt you here, and apologies that I'm doing that, but because I've completely run out of time, but what we have promised to our viewers is that starting till about tomorrow. I think tomorrow at this point, who knows, Manish, we'll be here celebrating that India has created history. And like I said, fingers crossed for all that. Gentlemen, I need to thank all of you, but only for now. Look forward to talking to you again. As we say that the moon is getting all ready now to welcome Vikram. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us. We head into a break right now. Back on the other side with lots more.
Program confirmed.
QS&THE, the world's foremost university rankings organizations, have ranked Amity amongst the top 3% universities globally, making it among the very few Indian universities to be included in both rankings. Yet another top ranking for Amity University.
Shifting focus to the latest in the Cauvery water issue between Tamil Nadu and Karnataka, as the states are on the verge of fighting yet another legal battle over the sharing of the waters of the river Cauvery. The Congress government of Karnataka has convened an all-party meeting tomorrow on the 23rd of August over the release of waters to Tamil Nadu. A detailed report. Take a look.
The Cauvery dispute has taken centre stage in Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, escalating the decibel against the Congress government in Karnataka for supplying water to Tamil Nadu. BJP called for a Bengaluru-Mysuru highway bandh. They also alleged that the Congress government in Karnataka is trying to appease the DMK.
There is shortage of water storage, rainfalls have gone, and already the Cauvery crop is taken care by Tamil Nadu. They should put all the facts before the Supreme Court and protect the interest of the farmers of Karnataka. And we are with the state government as far as protection of farmers in Cauvery region.
They just wanted to play politics. They wanted to keep DMK in a good books. Probably they have called a all-party meeting. It's in just eyewash. Our party representatives will be attending the meeting, and probably we want to expose this government how they have let down the people of Karnataka.
Amid attack from the opposition, the Congress government has convened an all-party meeting on August 23.
Karnataka government is calling all-party meeting on water disputes connected to Cauvery and Madai and all the disputes. So it is on Wednesday. I have called even the parliament members also, some senior parliament members also, to be a part of the meeting, because important central ministers also there, which all of us has to work and save the interest of Karnataka. So to seek their suggestions, we have called an all-party meeting on Wednesday.
The Supreme Court on Monday agreed to constitute a bench to hear the Cauvery River water sharing dispute, where Tamil Nadu has sought direction to Karnataka to release 24,000 cusecs of water daily for standing crops. War over Cauvery is only intensifying. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
Watching this morning on Republic TV. And in other news, the 27th edition of exercise Malabar concluded on the east coast of Australia off Sydney. The exercise not only reaffirmed the ability of the four navies to operate together as an integrated force, but also highlighted their shared commitment to maritime security and regional stability through collaborative training and mutual understanding. Watch more in this report.
India, US, Japan and Australia showcase strong cooperation. At the 27th edition of Exercise Malabar, which concluded on the east coast of Australia off Sydney on Monday, the exercise saw the participation of ships, submarines and aircraft from the Indian Navy, Royal Australian Navy, Japan Maritime Self-Defense Force and the US Navy. Exercise Malabar 23 was conducted in two phases, which included a harbour phase from 11 to 15 August 2023 and a sea phase from 16 to 21 August 2023. The Indian Navy was represented by indigenously built destroyer INS Kolkata, frigate INS i.n.d.i.a and P-8I maritime patrol aircraft. Other participating units including RAN ships HMAS Jules and HMAS Brisbane, USS Rafael Peralta and JS Shiranui. While the ship sailed out for the sea phase from Sydney Harbour, the air assets operated from RAF Amberley Brisbane, where the P-8AI involving RAF and US P-8 crew were stationed. The sea phase of exercise Malabar witnessed complex and high-intensity exercises. The joint exercises at sea honed the war-fighting skills and enhanced interoperability between the four navies. Exercise Malabar vividly showcased the strong cooperation, shared values and the collective ability of
Hello and welcome. You're watching the Trending Burning Question with me, Shavan Sen. Ladies and gentlemen, India is all set to make history once its third lunar mission, Chandrayaan-3, makes a soft and successful landing on the south polar region of the moon on Wednesday. ISRO has confirmed this would be around 6:04 in the evening. In fact, they've shared more images of the moon taken from a 70-kilometer distance by the country's ambitious lunar mission. The images were captured by a camera tasked with guiding the lander during its historic touchdown tomorrow. Now, learning from Chandrayaan-2, its shortcomings, India's new lunar mission aims to make a soft landing on the moon south pole. And as the countdown to Chandrayaan's landing has begun, what is even more important to perhaps remember is the journey that India has witnessed over the last 1 decade. Joining us on this special broadcast is Padma Bhushan, Dr. George Joseph. He was the director of the Space Application Center in Ahmedabad. Not just that, he was the head of India's first lunar mission study task force. Dr. Joseph, thank you very much for speaking to Republic TV. Not many would really know about the fact that today, if Chandrayaan-3 is really possible, it's because what began back in 2000, you being part of Dr. G. Madhavan Nair's team, and when you all started that task force to look into lunar exploration. At that point in time, perhaps that wasn't one of the major objectives of ISRO, to basically indulge in any sort of an exploration, but the need emerged with that task force that came into being, and you were at the helm of affairs. Dr. Joseph, tell us, what is it that you found out when you began that study? Why do you think the lunar mission of India becomes extremely crucial?
Well, let me start by telling, in India we have number of scientists who study the space related sciences. So it was at that time Dr. Kasturi Rangan, who was the chairman at that time, thought we should investigate the possibilities of using our own rocket and satellite to study outside Earth. So obviously the first target for that was the moon. So before starting seriously, he wanted to know the reaction or the views of the scientists. For this purpose, during 1999, there was a meeting of the scientists of the Indian Academy of Sciences, where there's a half-day session on a mission to moon, which was attended by a number of senior scientists, and it was unanimously felt such a mission will be invigorating to the scientists and the younger generation and also nation as a whole. Subsequently, there was a meeting at the Space Application Center, Ahmedabad, of the Astronomical Society of India, where also we discussed the possibilities of having a mission to moon and what type of science it can do it and what more we can learn, which is already having. So, after also having a discussion with the scientific community, Dr. Kasturirangan set up a study task force. As you said, I had the privilege of chairing that, which is included scientists from across the country. And that's how the first seed of lunar mission or Chandrayaan-3 has taken place.
Dr. Joseph, let's take it a step forward. You also submitted a report thereafter. You identified those very capabilities of ISRO. Let me ask you this. What were the recommendations that you made at that point in time? And did you actually see that India perhaps could be at the cusp of making history as it is today? Did you foresee this when you undertook that study?
Yes. See, let me tell you, the study consists of scientists from across the country, and first investigation or first discussion what science we can do, which is something unique and which will also give an opportunity for our scientists to have some newer understanding. Now, based on that, I just give you one example. You know, one of the camera sensor on board the Chandrayaan-1 was a stereoscopic camera, which has a capability to measure, to take image at 5 meters. Of course, the moon, the whole of moon surface have been photographed at various resolutions, but there was no systematic measurement. Now that will enable in the future to do any experiment on a specific location to have a base map. You know, in India, if you want to do any observation, you go for Survey of India map. So that was one of the targets. Second thing was to understand the mobility of the particles on the moon, how it moves, and a number of things like that. So we set up a target. So what was the most prominent, scientifically valuable experiments? And we found with that experiment the weight and the power, whether we have the capability of the existing satellite rocket to carry it. We found that we can do a meaningful experiment with the capability of the rocket at that time. Dr. Kasturirangan also thought it will be a good opportunity, just like the other countries do, giving an opportunity for outside India to put their own experiments. So in the study team, we reserved, if I remember correctly, about 10 kg weight and around 10 watt power and we send out proposal internationally. We got large number of proposals and we shortlisted out of that, and that's how the whole payload was configured. Later, when the actual work has to be started, then it was found at that time, Dr. Madhavan Nair, that we could have gone for an advanced version of PSLV, which has the capability to take a higher payloads. So we have added some more payloads from the foreign countries, as well as we have a moon impact probe also, which has been put on that. So this is how the evolution of Chandrayaan-1 took place.
Dr. Joseph, coming to Chandrayaan-1, which you have been part of, and that was one mission that not just India was really proud of. It was critically acclaimed by several universities abroad, and the very fact that Chandrayaan-1 was that first mission that discovered the presence of ice molecules on the surface of Moon. What is it that you would say was the most unique aspect of Chandrayaan-1? And when you were building it, did you actually think that you would be able, at the first go, be able to make this mission a success?
Of course, we have no doubt in our mind the mission will be successful. Now, to answer the first question, now when you make a scientific investigation, you go with a presumption. Not every time you think of a discovery. Of course, it is the first time anywhere we have discovered the hydroxyl, I mean not the water, the molecules, using what's called a spectrometer. That is a great discovery which I think is now remembered whenever one has a mission on the Moon. The other thing, as I told, we were able to see Moon surface have been imaged in centimeters by these astronauts and in meters or kilometers by other means, but never a systematic observation of 5 meter, which is equivalent, which can give a 1:50,000 scale map. This has been first done by the Chandrayaan-1. So it is basically, though it is a first experiment for India, it had lot of innovations so that it gave good science as well.
Dr. Joseph, one last question that I would like to take with you is with regards to the journey. If you now look back, was there a moment when you were discussing this with your fellow scientists? Did you actually imagine a situation where India is not only going to decide that Chandrayaan-3, which is going to perhaps choose the most difficult area for soft landing, not only that aspect, but several firsts in multiple missions that were taking place? Did you, your team, actually think that India could achieve this? And if that's the case, what is it in terms of the future of India's space exploration looks like to you?
It's a good question. See, in fact, when we made the study, we found out, we tried to establish with the existing capability at that time, not only going to Moon, whether we can go to Mars. So in fact, the study report has about a couple of pages telling what is the capability at that time to go to Mars. Probably I would say the seed of mission orbiting Mars was already sown there. We were confident that the experiment what we have proposed on that will have a scientific value, and we never had any doubt that any issue will take place. Of course, it is a science mission, it's a spacecraft mission, you can have bugs here and there, but the capability of our launch vehicle, capability of the satellite was such that the proposed mission was really possible, and it was successful, except that after, I don't remember, after some time, we had some glitch in which we have to close it down.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Joseph, for taking us through this journey. Yeah. Sorry. Dr. Joseph, go ahead. Please make your point that you will.
No need to apologize.
No, what I meant
Dr.
is,
Joseph, you were saying something. Sorry, I interrupted you.
We purposely coined this Chandrayaan-1. Of course, to have the history, I should say, the proposal we made and submitted to Chairman ISRO was Somayana. But then it is Honorable Prime Minister at that time, Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji, said that Chandrayaan is a term which is more familiar to the people, and he is changed the name to Chandrayaan. So that's just giving a background on that. So I would say
Dr.
that
Joseph,
we have put the Chandrayaan as one, purposely keeping in mind this is only the beginning, and there are number of other missions to take place.
Just, I'm really running short of time, but quickly, if I just can get a word from you. As far as Chandrayaan-3 is concerned, Dr. Joseph, I know you've not been part of this mission, but how confident are you from whatever information is out in public domain?
See, in ISRO as a background, whenever there is a failure, we make a study extensively and make corrections. This is not the first time. The number of times we have failed, we have succeeded. I am 101% confident that this will be a great success. Of course, mishap can happen at any time, any moment.
Right. Well, thank you very much, Dr. Joseph. It was a pleasure interacting with you on Republic TV, and really hoping that after that successful landing on Moon, we could once again touch base with you as you take us through the journey of India's moon exploration.
Thank you.
Well, program confirmed.
Shifting focus to the latest in the Cauvery water issue between Tamil Nadu and Karnataka, as the states are on the verge of fighting yet another legal battle over the sharing of the waters of the river Cauvery. The Congress government of Karnataka has convened an all-party meeting tomorrow on the 23rd of August over the release of waters to Tamil Nadu. A detailed report. Take a look.
The Cauvery dispute has taken centre stage in Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, escalating the decibel against the Congress government in Karnataka for supplying water to Tamil Nadu. BJP called for a Bengaluru-Mysuru highway bandh. They also alleged that the Congress government in Karnataka is trying to appease the DMK.
There is shortage of water storage, rainfalls have gone, and already the Cauvery crop is taken care by Tamil Nadu. They should put all the facts before the Supreme Court and protect the interest of the farmers of Karnataka. And we are with the state government as far as protection of farmers in Cauvery region.
They just wanted to play politics. They wanted to keep DMK in a good books. Probably they have called a all-party meeting. It's in just eyewash. Our party representatives will be attending the meeting, and probably we want to expose this government how they have let down the people of Karnataka.
Amid attack from the opposition, the Congress government has convened an all-party meeting on August 23.
Karnataka government is calling all-party meeting on water disputes connected to Cauvery and i.n.d.i.a and all the disputes. So it is on Wednesday. I have called even the parliament members also, some senior parliament members also, to be a part of the meeting, because important central ministers also there, which all of us has to work and save the interest of Karnataka. So to seek their suggestions, we have called an all-party meeting on Wednesday.
The Supreme Court on Monday agreed to constitute a bench to hear the Cauvery River water sharing dispute, where Tamil Nadu has sought direction to Karnataka to release 24,000 cusecs of water daily for standing crops. War over Cauvery is only intensifying. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
Watching this morning on Republic TV. And in other news, the 27th edition of exercise Malabar concluded on the east coast of Australia off Sydney. The exercise not only reaffirmed the ability of the four navies to operate together as an integrated force, but also highlighted their shared commitment to maritime security and regional stability through collaborative training and mutual understanding. Watch more in this report.
India, US, Japan and Australia showcase strong cooperation. At the 27th edition of exercise Malabar, which concluded on the east coast of Australia off Sydney on Monday, the exercise saw the participation of ships, submarines and aircraft from the Indian Navy, Royal Australian Navy, Japan Maritime Self-Defense Force and the US Navy. Exercise Malabar 23 was conducted in two phases, which included a harbour phase from 11 to 15 August 2023 and a sea phase from 16 to 21 August 2023. The Indian Navy was represented by indigenously built destroyer INS Kolkata, frigate INS Sayadri and PATI Maritime Patrol aircraft. Other participating units including RAN ships HMAS Jules and HMAS Brisbane, USS Rafael Peralta and JS Shiranui. While the ship sailed out for the sea phase from Sydney Harbour, the air assets operated from RAF Amberley Brisbane, where the PATI involving RAF and USP-8 crew were stationed. The sea phase of exercise Malabar witnessed complex and high-intensity exercises. The joint exercises at sea honed the war-fighting skills and enhanced interoperability between the four navies. Exercise Malabar vividly showcased the strong cooperation, shared values and the collective ability of the four participating nations to ensure a free, open and inclusive Indo-Pacific promoting peace and security for all. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
India's R. Pragananda has managed to defeat American Grandmaster Fabiano Caruana via a tiebreaker in the FIDE World Chess Championship. This seals his entry into the final of the FIDE World Cup. Here's more.
India's R. Pragnananda managed to defeat American GM Fabiano Caruana via the tiebreaker. This seals his entry into the final of the FIDE World Cup. The win comes after two classical games on
India's moon mission nears landing stage. World watches trajectory of Chandrayaan-3. Countdown to Chandrayaan-3 landing. Debating tonight at 9 p.m.
That's away from launch.